Hi everybody and welcome back to the Toon Review YouTube channel for the live match reaction to Newcastle United's opening draw 0-0 at Villa Park against Aston Villa, of course. A game of what ifs, I guess, from what we saw earlier on. Newcastle United, a very brilliant first half, it has to be said. Absolutely outstanding, but I think we all know that we need a striker in there. We need a striker. We need more than one striker, actually, who can come in and finish the ball. But the runs, etc., you know, as much as Anthony Gordon did really try up front today, it's not the same as having an out-and-out striker. It just isn't. And nobody can convince me otherwise, to be fair. But if you do enjoy the show, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. And, of course, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. The only thing that we ask for is that you hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload or a live show. Please do consider becoming a member of the Toon Review by hitting the join button just underneath me, as just Matt has just done. So welcome, just Matt, to the members club. And, of course, you can super chat the channel, which is the $sign at the bottom of the live comments. And that will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. So we went 4-3-3 after all of the discussion in our match preview show on Thursday night about maybe playing 5 at the back, trying to counter Villa. It didn't pan out like that at all. I thought we dominated that first half, going 4-3-3. I thought we were excellent. Barnes was involved a lot. Alanga made some good runs, but again, you know, the final ball was a little bit iffy, didn't really come to fruition, but we did have great chances. Alanga going through one-on-one, had that been a little further into the game or a couple of games into the season, probably would have converted that, to be fair. And then, of course, the goalkeeper making a good save from Anthony Gordon as well. But the Villa goalkeeper did really well in that first half, controlled his penalty area very well. I thought our press was absolutely magnificent in that first half. You know, we didn't give Villa a second on the ball. They did not like it. They did not like it. They couldn't control the ball. Their passing was off. They were all over the place. And they had to get better in that second half. They had no other choice but to get better. I'm sure Emery gave them a grilling at half-time. And really, we didn't turn out for the second half again. And that's what really annoyed me. It took us till the sending off before we started pressing Villa again to try and win the game. And that is a little bit of a worry for me, because it continues to be the case that we dominate the first half, but somehow we come out and take our foot off the gas a little bit and allow the opposition to get back into the game. But look, it was a sending off. There's no doubt about that. Did Gordon make more of it than he should have? Of course he did, but he gets pulled back. He's going to go down like that. It's the way football is, and he wins the free kick, and the penalty is the free kick. The red card is non-negotiable for me, without a shadow of a doubt. A red card, and we knocked on the door a little bit after that, but we didn't really make the goalkeeper make a big save. I thought Anthony Gordon was a little bit greedy at times, especially shooting from 35 yards. Murphy's in clear space. What did you think about the substitutions? Did he wait too long to bring Asula on to try and rough it up a bit in the striker position? I thought he did, to be honest. I thought he waited 10 minutes too long. Jack, member for 9 months, says all we need is a proper number 10. The game wasn't bad, but the lack of proper striker didn't help us at all. We looked good overall, though. And Doug from the Dugout channel, thank you, mate. Member for 42 months. Thanks, buddy. I think Newcastle were unlucky not to take all 3. Can see you giving us a real hostile reception on Monday. A draw away at Villa is not bad at all. Yeah, well, listen, ask us before the game, would we have taken a draw against Aston Villa? Everyone would have snapped your hands off. Aston Villa are a very good side. Yes, of course we'd take a point. But when you look at the game itself and how the game went, I think we disappointed we didn't take all 3. And that, for me, stands out a million miles. But, you know, we didn't see Park come on. I thought he could have maybe come on for a 15, 10-minute cameo and maybe tried to change a little bit. But it's clear that, you know, Eddie's not going to throw him into the deep end straight away. If we're a couple of goals up and winning the game, then maybe we would have seen a bit of Park. But I do think just a little too long before we saw Will Asula. Whether you think Asula's good enough or not, you know, we needed that little bit of physicality up front, because that was severely lacking in the game. You know, the physicality that we normally get from a striker who's going to bother the centre-backs didn't really happen. Alan J2 J Gaming is a new member of the channel. Thank you very much. Welcome to Members Club. Stephen says, put a through ball to utilise Gordon's speed wouldn't have hurt. Surely 2 points dropped. Well, look, we did that, didn't we? The ball in for the sending off. It was a beautiful ball. Lovely weighted pass by Elanga, by the way. And Gordon was away and then unceremoniously dumped to the floor, pulled back. And it is a free kick and it is a red card. But at the end of the day, we've got to take the positives out of the game because a lot of people thought we would get hammered today. You know, our match reactions were, our match predictions were very much Newcastle losing the game. It didn't even work out like that. We did really well to get what we did out of that match. And, you know, to come away with a point, Liverpool next week, that's not going to be an easy game. But I think the way we played today, you have to be very proud of them to say, right, even though we didn't have a striker, we still went out there and we caused Villa all sorts of problems. All sorts of problems. Maybe not second half, but certainly first half. But I think Eddie Howe needs to do something about this this second half syndrome that people are now starting to call it, because it's feeling a little bit like that, isn't it? Where you get the second half starting and we just don't seem to... We seem to want to give the opposition a route back into the game, where first half, we weren't giving Villa any time on the ball at all. Now, whether it was heavy legs, you know, first game of the season and we got a bit tired, but we've seen it time and time again, whether the season's brand new or whether we're deep into a season, it always seems to happen. I thought Harvey Barnes was excellent first half. He went out of the game in the second, but we didn't really get the ball to him a lot in the second half. Of course, when they went to 10 men, he saw a bit more of the ball, but the creativity just wasn't quite there. Just wasn't quite there. But Fabian Schär, outstanding for me today. Absolutely outstanding. In fact, both the centre-backs played well. But it just goes to show that if you have somebody on the bench who you know is ready to take your place, if your form dips, then that's going to keep Fabian at that level. Now, obviously, he's not going to be able to play every game this season, Fabian Schär, or Dan Burn for that matter. But I think that long-term, we all know who the main two centre-backs are going to be. They're going to be Chow and Botman. But in the meantime, you know, to have them play as well as they did today was a definite positive. Nick Pope, I thought, did very well. Commanded his box really well. There was only one kick I can remember that he mishit and went out of play. Apart from that, he was there when he needed to be. Good positioning. I think Villa had two efforts that ended up just being straight at Nick Pope because his positioning was so good. So really pleased on that sense as well. So yeah, there's way more positives to take out of that game than there is negatives. But I do need to point out that at the end of the game, it was quite clear what the Newcastle fans were singing. And there's only one greedy bastard. And we all know who that was aimed at. And this makes me think even more now that bringing Isak, trying to reintegrate him back into the squad, you know, may be doable. But with the fans, I think it's gone, guys. I think any support that the fans may have has just completely gone. And the Newcastle fans made their feelings exactly known to Isak at the end of that game. And that's how it should be. He doesn't care about Newcastle right now, so why should we care about him? And let him know exactly what we think of him and how difficult it's going to be for him to try and get reintegrated back. But listen, if we had a striker on the pitch today, if we had Isak there, would we have won the game? I think we would have. And I think we would have won it comfortably. Certainly from that first half display, I think we could have been 2 up or 3 up by half-time, given the performance we had. But obviously that's just hypothetical because he wasn't there and he doesn't want to be here. But you can see where we were just lacking in the game. We did so well in the first half. We pressed. The press was incredible. The press was really incredible from the lads. And we went at them. We kept going at them. We didn't give them a second on the ball. They were struggling. Certainly, we dominated the midfield. I think Joe Linton was a little bit quiet, but he did his job. And I think, you know, when we're saying he's quiet, Joe Linton still went about his job today. He still went and done what he needed to do. Obviously substituted for Miley later on in the game. But Bruno, for me, just a couple of times he held onto the ball a little bit too long again and lost possession. I thought Tonali was fine. Tonali's just a breeze to watch, isn't he? But listen, it's the first game of the season. First game of the season. We know we know that the fitness still isn't 100% and there's still things to work on, etc. But I think the Newcastle hierarchy now, they have to go and get strikers. Because if any game was evident that we can't play with Gordon up front, it was today. Gordon was moved out to the left when Asula came on. I think Gordon looked a lot more lively. But, you know, there was a couple of chances that we had to get the ball in the box, and it was a little bit disappointing, the crossing. Alanga was hit and miss today. He did some really good things, especially first half. Second half, I thought he disappeared out the game. And when he did have opportunities, he overhit his crosses. But that will come, guys. You know, it's first game of the season. And at least we're up and running. We've got a point from a very difficult away game where sometimes games at Villa Park can disappear out of our reach. But we were undoubtedly the best in the first half. Second half, it was rough. It was rough and tumble, and it could have gone anywhere. Kevin says, just got to break the bank for a young, hungry striker, and Eddie will turn him into a belter. John says, Eddie, comment, Ari, start of second half, it was hot. Oh, please, he didn't say that, did he? Oh, no. Lars says, to everyone saying Isak would have scored today, did you not see him for the last 4 to 5 matches last year? He was whiffing his chances left, right, and centre every match, and penalties was saved. Yeah, but I think what we mean, Lars, is, I mean, I'm not just talking about Isak, to be fair. I'm talking about an out-and-out striker. You know, it was evident on that pitch today how much we needed an out-and-out striker, and there's not one there. And that's the problem. When you don't have a striker who is used to making runs in the channels and things like that. There was a couple of times, actually, certainly first half, Barnes played some lovely balls into the channel, expecting the striker to make those runs, and Gordon didn't. Because he's not used to making those runs. He's not used to being in that position. Gordon's normally used to playing them balls the same as what Harvey Barnes is. So it's clear as day. Tonali didn't have a shot. It was so disappointing. Tonali's a 6, though. Tonali's more back than Bruno and Joe Linton. First game in... I don't even know what you mean by that, to be honest. Alanga's final ball needs to be better. It will be, though. It will be. It will come. Julie J says, Eddie Howe, speaking to BBC Match of the Day, I'm happy with the point. I thought we were magnificent, front foot, very aggressive. We had chances to score. I mean, everybody's going to sort of have an opinion on what the manager says, just like I'll have my opinion. And I think, you know, if he's saying things like that, magnificent. I thought we were magnificent first half. I have to say that. Everybody played well in that first half. We went at Villa. We took the game to them. We didn't allow them to settle on the ball. I thought we played very, very well. But I don't think we were magnificent in the second half. Until the sending off, we didn't push them at all. And then the sending off happened. We went a man up. And then we started knocking on the door again. LG says Visser would have been all over them today. I think he would have. I think that just cried out for a Visser. It really did. I think it was PSV that banned his agent. Visser probably would have had a hat-trick today. Gordon looked so much better when moved out wide. We should have brought on Asula earlier. He looks sharp. Yeah, I mean, look, Asula, you could see when he came on, he caused a little bit of problem for Villa. Now, whether I'm not saying that we should have started Asula by a million years, because I think there's a lot of still big question marks about whether Asula will succeed. However, for that last 10, 15 minutes, when you're looking to try and just upset the apple cart a little bit with Villa, cause their centre-backs a few problems that they haven't necessarily had in other parts of the game, then yes, I think absolutely go and try and do that and cause problems. But bringing him on with 2 minutes to go, I thought was a little bit silly, really. It just didn't mean anything. Paul, against Liverpool, do you think we might play a 5 at the back against them like we did against Arsenal with Hall and Chow in the back line? I'm not sure about Lewis Hall, to be honest, matey, because the reason I'm saying that is he didn't make an appearance at all today. And that gives me the impression that Eddie Howe doesn't feel he's ready for any physical stuff in the Premier League just yet. And that's weird, because you can turn around and say, well, why was he on the bench if that's the case? And, it's a perfect question to ask. Why was he on the bench if he had no intention of bringing him on? Because I think he could have done better after the sending off, maybe take Livramento off and put Lewis Hall on for his attacking ability. We all know he's a brilliant defender, but he's also brilliant going forward. Bit of fresh legs might have done the trick, but we'll never know. But that says to me that Lewis Hall is nowhere near fitness yet. Lars says, in Gordon's defence, he made plenty of runs that were overlooked, and I'm not his greatest fan. Yes, but I thought he was certainly second half when he had those opportunities to make some good passes. It was really greedy of him what he did. But hey, it's one of them, isn't it? Stephen says, Gordon said that he thinks he's going to play more as a striker. He said he just needs to get used to it. We need proper strikers in. Gordon can say that till the cows come home, to be honest. And, maybe he's expecting to run a games as a striker. Maybe he's been told something by Eddie Howe that we all don't know and haven't been told ourselves. But behind the scenes, maybe Gordon's been told, look, with what's happening with Alexander Isak, we need you to be that forward if we can't get people through the door in the next couple of weeks. I think Visser... if Brentford get this signing over the line for the striker, I think Visser does sign, and I think you make a massive difference to the front line against Liverpool. We need that physicality, and certainly who's going to go up against the likes of Van Dijk and give him a bit of shit. Van Dijk and Kanate or whoever plays for Liverpool, go and give them a rough night. Make sure they know they've been in a game, and also try and get a goal. But I think without a striker against Liverpool, I'm not saying we're going to lose the game, but I'm saying scoring goals can be very, very difficult. Michael says, I've got a funny feeling that Liverpool are losing interest in Isak. He's been stitched up by the club and his agent. He surely must be gutted. I couldn't give a shit. I hope he is. In all honesty, Michael, I hope he is gutted because he deserves to be gutted. Whatever you think he's been advised, he's old enough to make his own decisions as well. And he's certainly been around the game long enough to know what's right and wrong and how to go about conducting yourself. Simple as. I just don't, I don't have any sympathy for him at all. Hippie says we are at our best and most intense in the first 20 minutes of the game. If we get a striker, we could be seriously scary to play against. Absolutely. You know what's going to happen? They're going to have placards in the stands with free Isak. Oh, the Liverpool fans, yeah. We had a few of them on at the end of the Matchday Live show, of course, hashtagging free Isak and all of this garbage. Look, I don't understand what's going on with Liverpool fans because you can have Isak if you paid the fucking money for him, but you don't want to pay what he's valued at. So why should he, this free Isak bollocks, just pay the money. Claire says, I see Liverpool fans now happy just having Ekitike ruined our pre-season and started the season with their greed. Well, like I say, it's coming to bite Isak in the arse as well. Completely in the arse. And given what the Newcastle United fans were singing at the end of that game, the sympathy is not there for him. It's just not. And why should it be? He's shit on Newcastle, but more so he's shit on his manager who's treated him, who's done so much for him. And that's where my anger comes from, as to what he's done to our manager, who's nurtured him into the player he is now. Yes, he was a very good player when he signed, but he wasn't the player he is now without the guidance of Eddie Howe and the coaching staff. And Newcastle need to take some credit for making him the player that he is now. Very good before he came. He's now a world-class striker. Kevin says, buy a number 9 and bench Isak till January with minimal training, then flog him. So many chances, too many fluffs, says Spike. Yeah, but let's remember, it's first game of the season, and we've come away from Villa Park. Not many people will come away from Villa Park this season with a point, guys. I'm telling you. Villa will have Villa are a very good side, especially at home, and they will cause people all sorts of problems. But we've still got very good players to come into this team. Jacob Ramsey will be available next week. Malik Chow, when we're going to see him, don't know. But there's going to be options. We could have hopefully a striker in by next Monday night as well. But we need to get moving on that. At least 2 strikers need to come in the door. We're all aware of that, to be fair. C15 rises. I'd assume that the first few games he would. He's our best presser. Then starts from the front. Yes, exactly. And I think Gordon did press really well in the first half. I was really impressed with how he did. He didn't give the goalkeeper or the centre-backs long on the ball at all. And I thought, credit where credit's due. I thought Gordon did really well with that. CS with a super chat. Canny game overall, Paul, for the first game. Yeah, look, I'm not sitting here completely disappointed at all. A little bit frustrated that we maybe didn't win the game but like I said, before the game, I would have taken a point, absolutely. But the way the game went, and, after the game, you look back at it and you think, we had an opportunity there to take all 3 points. But at the same time, we've got a point. We're up and running in the Premier League, and not many people will take points at Villa Park. Peter says, Vissa for experience in the Premier League and Samu or Walter Mera for a young striker to get experience and build off Vissa, and then the team will be nice. Eric says, and his best isn't good enough. Rough Barnes produces more. I'd say he's talking about Asula. I don't know. Ian Wartoon, a member for exactly a year. Ian Wartoon, sorry. Thank you very much for your membership and support. Lost there last year. Didn't this already an improvement? Yeah, we were bad last year at Villa Park, remember? So I think, look, it's a point. And if you can get anything out of your away games, then it's a bonus. And I think when people look back in the future and look back and say, oh, yeah, we've got a point at Aston Villa, they won't look back and think, maybe we should have won that game. They'll just look back and say, we've got a point. And many of, the ex-pros for Newcastle, Malcolm MacDonald always says, just win your home games and at least try and get something from your away games. Doesn't have to be a win, but just continually picking points up on the road will put you in that elite bracket in the league. And I think that's, we've shown a lot of that intention today because there was a lot of, before the game, in the build-up to it, when we started our Matchday Live show, there was a lot of fans a little bit worried about it. And I think we all were, and all wondering what Newcastle United would turn out. But I think the way the first half went, the disappointment of not actually winning the game is there. And I think if you're disappointed that you haven't won the game, surely that's a plus point to start the season. That you're more disappointed you haven't won the game than thinking about getting a point. Charlie thought we were bright. Take the point every day. Absolutely. Kevin says Eddie needs to stop being so nice with him. Enough is enough. I'm not sure what you're talking about. But Peter says, would you take Harvey Elliott or Gakpo plus money for Isak? Yes. But I don't want him to go to Liverpool. I think a better option for us is actually doing a deal with Ramos at PSG, including Isak in that deal. I think that would be absolutely tremendous for Newcastle if we can do that. Whether they will or not, I don't know, or whether PSG are actually interested in Isak. There's been a few little whispers here and there that maybe we are interested, and PSG are interested in Isak. But would that happen? I don't know. But I think it's best case scenario for the club, getting rid of Isak to another league rather than playing against us, and we get Ramos in the meantime. I think it's a very, very good deal, actually. Sorry, Paul, but Isak was not that great when we signed him. He was injury prone and not that consistent. But Eddie made him world class and spattered him. Look, it's irrelevant what I think about Isak when he first came to the side, to be honest. It's irrelevant what anybody thinks about Isak when he first signed. The bottom line is, it's what we think about him now and what he's done to Eddie Howe in the football club. Nobody can sort of gloss over that or anything like that. He is shit on us as fans, as a football club, and Eddie as a manager. And so it doesn't really matter what he did or what he was like before he signed for Newcastle. It's what he's like now. And he's an arsehole, quite honestly. Andrew said that old cliche, a point away in the Premier League is always a good point. Absolutely. Massive boost for the lads, even with no striker. At least they tried their best. Exactly. And I think that's what we need to think, is that there were some very, very good performances today, especially in the first half. Yes, there's a few people slightly disappeared in the second. But look, we've come away with it unbeaten and a clean sheet and a point. And I think, it's a cliche again, but if you look towards the end of the season, that point could be massive. You could look at it another way and think, we dropped 2 points. That could be massive as well. But I think that could be huge for Newcastle United if we, at the end of the season, needed a point for whatever reason. We can look back at the first day of the season and say, yeah. Devin says the Rat is also doing himself no favours with no game time. Good riddance. Jilly says, the thing is, will PSG want to put up with his agent after what he's done with Isak? Look, I think, for me, the whole thing has been tainted with Isak and his representatives. Because, let's be fair here. You know, if you're a club that's wanting to sign Isak, you're going to turn around and look at it and think, hang on a minute. Do we really want this guy at our football club? What's to say that if he goes to Liverpool, that in 2 years' time, Real Madrid come knocking and he does the same to them? And his representatives and agents behave the same way and advise him exactly the same way. We know how that all works. He's ruined his kind of reputation and trust. Because what's to say that he doesn't do this with another side? I think he's just an arse. Looking forward to Man United getting battered, pop their arrogant bubble. They seem to have forgotten how awful they've been for years. Aaron will be in doo-doo. Yeah, I think he's under pressure if they lose a couple of games early doors. Yvonne says Isak was easily pushed off the ball when he arrived. He bulked up for the second season under Mad Dog and Eddie. There was so much we did with him. And so much we did with him. And you know what? I think those guys went out today at Villa Park to prove a point. They went out to prove that, yes, we don't have a striker right now, but those 11 that started that game and the subs that came on all give everything for Newcastle United. Let's not forget that. These guys have shown fantastic commitment through what has been a very, very difficult summer. Eddie admitted that. But the way they played there this afternoon, you know, I think it gives us a lot of positives to take from it. That if we can get a couple of strikers in, then this is a very, very good side for the coming season. It's a very, very good squad. You know, because we've got Botman there, we've got Chow on the bench, we've got Lewis Hall on the bench, Miley. You know, there's some very, very good talent on that bench. And adding a couple of strikers, want to start, want to be on the bench, it starts to look a little bit brighter. And given the way we played today, keep doing that. Get a striker in. I think the horizon looks very, very bright. I really do think that. I'm not sitting here disappointed we got a draw. I think I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated more than I am disappointed, because I think frustration, you can all be frustrated that we didn't actually go and win the game, because I think we should have. But at the moment, you have to take the positives and think, right, yeah, we've got a point at Villa. Not an easy place for Newcastle United to go, but we got a point, and it's all about what we got from the game. And you know what? I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased. I'm sort of. As the game was going on, I was getting more and more frustrated that we weren't putting the ball in the back of the net. But you have to take a point and think, yes, really good, especially at Villa. But there you go. That is my instant match reaction. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. As usual, if you have enjoyed the show, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. All that we ask is that you hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload or a live show, whether you're watching it now live or on a rerun later on in the day. Thank you so much to everybody that has subscribed and dropped a like on the channel as well. Don't forget, before I go, there is 1 day left in the voting for the Football Content Awards for 2025. All your instructions for that are right at the top of the description. What category to vote for, the link to go and vote. And it's all done by the judges this year. So you guys, whatever you put on that vote for us is read by the judges, and they make the decision. So thank you very much. But listen, go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday, folks. As I say, we'll be back live at 7 o'clock tomorrow night with the official match review, where we'll do all our player ratings. We'll take a deeper dive into the game and see what news has come around tomorrow as well regarding Newcastle United. So go and have a cracking weekend, guys. Thanks for your super chats, etc. Mods, thank you. And thank you to you. Have a blast of a weekend, and we'll see you back at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. In the meantime, take care.
Come back and check out the